Okay, I'm going to do a little Bible study too, but I want to start out with the monthly news like I always do. I actually had to get up this morning and put like 5 things down because things happened actually today, but I'll get to that in a minute. Right now I'm going to start out with prophetic things that are of interest to the Bible in the news, starting with September 29th, 2014. 8 dead in Peru, shallow 5.1 earthquake, leaving 500 homeless people. Also, a Ferguson police officer shot. You guys all heard about that? One of the Ferguson police officers were shot because of all the riots they got going on over there because of Michael Brown's shooting. Okay, another one. Death toll on Japanese volcano is up to 36 people. We talked about last month. Funeral rites in Africa where all the family kisses or touches the body is making the Ebola outbreak worse. Got to get rid of those rituals when you got diseases going on. September 30th in Nigeria, a social media prank caused 2 deaths when told drinking large amounts of salt water will prevent Ebola. Talk about a bad joke. NFL player penalized for end zone prayer. So the persecution has begun on Christians. You can't even pray at a football game. October 1st, Texas school kids in contact with Ebola patient. October 2nd, about 100 people could have come in contact with the Ebola patient. Okay, the NFL says Muslim prayer is okay, but people on the team can't wear Jesus t-shirts. Double standard, right? Hypocritical. Okay, surfer loses his arm and his other hand to 2 sharks. The last few months, there's been more and more shark attacks. So I've been noticing that and I've been covering that. October 4th, polio hits record high in Pakistan. October 5th, New Jersey boy dies of enterovirus. So it's not just Ebola. A few months ago we had the coronavirus getting out of control. Now we got the enterovirus and Ebola. Okay, same day, Ukrainian Christians threatened with firing squads in the Ukraine. Also on that same day, U.S. airmen dead and 2 missing in Japan typhoon. October 6th, lightning strike kills 11 members of Columbia Native tribe. Now this is the 3rd time of reporting lightning strike deaths the last few months I've been covering. So watch what we say and do. You can get struck by lightning. October 6th. Also, local Mexican police handed off students to the cartel. Anyone heard of that one? The students are protesting at a college in Mexico, and the government, some of the corrupt officials handed them over to one of the cartels, and there's a whole bunch of missing college students, and they can't find them, so they fear that they are dead. They don't know for sure, but they fear they're dead. Explosion at Iranian nuke site kills 2 people. October 7th, 185 churches torched by Nigeria's Boko Haram. October 8th, Ebola patient Eric Duncan dies. That's the guy that came into Texas. 6.2 strikes off Mexico, earthquake. 5 more civilians killed in worst India-Pakistan fighting for years. October 9th, a swarm of bees kills a man in Arizona. Also that same day, a 7.1 earthquake in the Pacific. Luckily there was no tsunami. Coordinated attacks killed 63 people in the Islamic nation of Yemen. Also that same day, a 7.1 hits the Pacific.
They're going to call your name.
October 10th, Ebola death toll passes 4,000. Wait till you see what it hits today, by the time today comes. This is just the beginning of the month. Also on that same day, North and South Korea exchanged gunfire. October 10th, 6.3 earthquake rocks Japan as typhoon hits Okinawa. October 12th, enterovirus 68, it's called the D68, kills a child in Michigan. Okay, a protest near Ferguson, Missouri. They expand beyond Ferguson now. It's getting big. Man charged with arson over California wildfire. 21 militants killed in Pakistan airstrikes. Iraq urges U.S. to send ground troops as ISIS closes in. October 13th. Witchcraft-related child abuse on the rise in the United Kingdom. So as we get closer and closer to the return of Christ, notice all the different witchcraft and satanic things that are on the increase all over the place. The devil is, he's kicking and screaming before he goes down. 14 dead in Afghan Taliban ambush. Israeli police thwart attack on the holy site. 20 dead in Somalia car bombing on October 14th. 7.4 earthquakes rocks El Salvador. You hear all these earthquakes are all above 6.0. Like I talked about last month. There's never been more earthquakes that large, that often, that close together. So the birth pains of Christ's return are coming closer and closer together. He's coming soon. World Health Organization, Ebola will top 9,000 cases soon. October 15th, Satan worshiper killed and ate his victims in North Carolina. The remains of 2 bodies were found in his backyard. So, people under the influence of darkness can do unspeakable things. Another person tested positive for Ebola in the United States. October 19th, Keene College, New Hampshire, New England, U.S. in the United States. Fires were set, vehicles damaged, campus lights toppled in alcohol-fueled unrest. That's a college. They had a bonfire and they were using pieces of the wooden fence to fuel the fire, jumping off a pickup truck in front, and finally the riot police came and used pepper spray and tear gas on these college students. So why do college students need to take their own property for college, light a bonfire, and just go out of control? It's a sign of the times. Even good school kids can turn evil. October 20th, 33 dead in Iraq bombings. You think it's over in Iraq because we're gone? No, they're still bombing. October 21st, baby born healthy after doctors recommend abortion for abnormalities. Hear that? Baby was born healthy after they recommended that it be killed by abortion because of the abnormalities. There was nothing wrong with this baby. So it wasn't God's plan for this baby to be aborted. God's plan was for it to be born healthy. Amen. It's awesome. I'm glad they didn't abort it. Strong earthquake hits Ecuador-Colombia border. The FBI tracked down 3 American teenage girls from Denver in Germany while they were en route to Syria to join militant groups. A law enforcement official told ABC News Today. You hear that? Young girls, teenage girls. One minute they're committing suicide, the next minute they're going to go join jihadists to kill our own people. Craziness. Satanic. Critics have attacked Obama's decision to appoint, listen to this, Obama appoints a Ebola czar. His name is Ron Klein, as Ebola czar for political smokescreen, pointing out that the former chief of staff to Al Gore, that's who he was, the former chief of staff to Al Gore, Ron Klein, he has no medical experience or expertise, and ironically, he's an enthusiastic advocate of population control and thinks there are too many people in Africa. So that's the one you're going to hire to help with Ebola? They think there's too many in Africa and he doesn't know anything about medical and they're going to hire him to handle Ebola. That makes a lot of sense. Not. October 22, Pakistan court upholds death sentence by hanging for a Christian woman. Her name is Bibi, and she says her co-workers falsely accused her of insulting Islam and refused to drink water from the same fountain because she was a Christian. So she's going to be hanged because these girls were jealous of her. She's pretty, by the way. These girls were probably jealous. They said, "Oh, let's tell our employer that she insulted Islam." Well, now she's going to be hanged for something she said she didn't even do because these girls were jealous. They're using religion to have her executed. Ridiculous. Authorities say terrorist ideology caused a recent convert to Islam to drive his car into 2 Canadian soldiers, killing 1. You guys might have heard of that. Yeah. October 23, shooting at the Canadian Parliament leaves 2 dead and shooter identified. So you got this ISIS calling out for people that don't believe, that are against Christianity and they're for Islam, to do things here. They're running over people, their cars, all kinds of crazy stuff. NATO jets intercept Russian spy plane over the Baltic Sea. So things are still heating up with Russia. October 24th, U.S. general believes that North Korea can now build a nuclear warhead. Well, we already knew that, but I thought I'd cover that. Officer critical after New York hatchet attack. That's another one of these ISIS things. Somebody attacked an officer with a hatchet. I think it was 4 officers. And he's in critical condition, one of them. Oklahoma records more than 10 earthquakes in 2 days. Remember last month? Same thing happened last month in Oklahoma. You know, that's where they do a lot of fracking. So they think it could be related. That's just my own personal, I wasn't in the news, but that's what I think. ISIS used chlorine gas chemical attack during fighting with security forces and Shiite militiamen last month in north of Baghdad. Okay, Canadian Parliament shooter was Islamic. You know the shooter in the Canadian Parliament? He was Islamic, and he often spoke of Satan's presence in the world. And that Satan, or they call him Shaitan in his language, as he said he thought that Shaitan was after him. Okay, here's some that I wrote this morning. I got 2 pages, a couple of things here. 2 dead and 4 injured, with 3 shot in the head at a Washington State school 40 miles north of Seattle, Washington. That's where my wife here comes from, Seattle. So it hits home for her. She says it never used to be like that. People didn't have to worry about people shooting up people at school. You have anything to add to that, Kim? Kim wanted to say something about that. It's from her home state.
Just to show you how things change all over. Seattle, when I grew up in the 60s and 70s and part of the 80s, it was very conservative city, state, and we didn't have really any gangs that I know of, and of course no school shootings during that time, and it just goes to show you how things can just change over the decades. And then, you know, the world's coming to the end, and the Lord's coming. It's not just Seattle, Washington, but all over, you know. So that's just really hit home to me, because I've gone back to visit there, and it's a totally different atmosphere. It's very liberal now. You just have more a higher crime rate now than it was before, and I know it can vary from state to state over the decades and years, but in that particular state it was really low, and now marijuana is now legal there, where it wasn't when I grew up, and so, you know, I just want everyone to be aware and be ready for the Lord coming, because you just don't know, you know. He's going to come in like a thief in the night, and you want to be ready for him. You really want to be ready. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, all right.
Okay, I had to write down a couple of things this morning. October 25th, that's today, 2 cops were killed in shooting rampage in Sacramento, California. Listen to the ironic thing about this. The man that was killed, police officer, today, 26 years ago, on this very day, his father was killed in the line of duty also. You see how evil likes to repeat itself. Earthquakes happened today in Alaska in a hidden fault line they've discovered. Okay, remember I talked last month about Hawaii and the volcano, the really bad volcano erupting? Well, in the last 48 hours, it's gotten really bad, and there's a whole town that may be cut off from the whole entire island. They'll be trapped because lava is surrounding their town. They're not going to be able to go anywhere except where they're at, because you can't get past lava. Obviously, it's, you know, you'll melt. So that's kind of an important thing that happened today. Okay, Ebola, as of today, is now over 10,000 victims. Over 10,000 people, and spreading fast. Actually, it just spread to Mali today too, so now it's in Mali. So it's not staying put, it's moving around. So we got to be careful. Pray.